Your body stops storing fat where it kills you. You are losing fat in the wrong places and calling it progress, like fixing a jacket sleeve while the seams are tearing inside. Your body adapts fast, almost intelligently, redirecting storage away from where you expect, toward where it matters most. It feels like improvement, looks like discipline, but hides a quiet trade-off. And once you notice where fat actually goes next, you won't look at getting lean the same again. Welcome to Dryfinity, where we give straight-shooting advice on attraction, style, and living well as a man. You are not just losing fat, you are negotiating with your body. And your body is not emotional, it is strategic. It does not care how you look in a shirt. It cares where fat is safest to keep you alive. That is the difference between fat loss and fat relocation. You are told that once the scale drops, you are winning. But the scale does not tell you where the fat is leaving from or where it is staying. And that small detail changes everything. Because two men can lose the same weight, and only one of them actually becomes healthier, sharper, more respected without saying a word. By the end, you will see why some men look better, feel stronger, and quietly dominate rooms without saying a word. Point 1. Most men approach this the wrong way. You cut calories hard, add more cardio, watch the scale drop, and call it progress. The number goes down, but something feels off. You look smaller, yes, but not sharper. Your shirts don't sit the same, your posture softens, even your presence feels reduced. Like you removed weight, but lost structure with it. What to do instead? Build muscle while you lose fat, not for size, but for density. That quiet, compact strength that changes how your body holds itself without asking permission. Resistance training becomes the focus, not punishment, not exhaustion, but precision. Here's what most people don't realize. Muscle changes how your body handles fat. It improves how your body uses insulin, which simply means the food you eat is more likely to be used, not stored. Your body becomes more selective, less waste, more function. And visually, everything shifts. Your shoulders carry more width, your waist pulls tighter, and suddenly your frame starts working for you instead of against you. Picture two men standing side by side at the same weight. One looks flat, almost unfinished. The other looks put together, like everything sits exactly where it should. Same number, completely different message. One looks like effort. The other looks like standards. And people notice, not in loud ways, but in subtle reactions. A longer glance, a different tone of respect. Women respond to structure, not just size. Men read discipline before a word is spoken. Even your clothes begin to cooperate without needing adjustments. But the real shift isn't how you look, it's how everything starts to feel easier. Point 2. Most men get used to feeling tired. Not exhausted, just slightly drained all the time. You wake up, push through the day, sit more than you should, avoid anything that feels physically demanding, and call it normal. Convenience becomes the strategy. Elevators over stairs, short walks over long ones, and anything that requires effort gets quietly postponed. Over time, your world shrinks without you noticing. What to do instead? Train for functional strength. Not random workouts, not chasing sweat, but consistent, compound movements that teach your body how to work as one unit again. Lifting, pushing, pulling, carrying. Simple patterns, repeated with intent. Here's what changes. Strength reduces the effort your body needs for everything else. When your baseline capacity goes up, daily tasks stop feeling like tasks. Your nervous system becomes more efficient, meaning your body does more with less strain. Energy is no longer something you constantly chase, it's something you conserve. Think about carrying groceries in one trip without planning it. Walking upstairs without negotiating with yourself halfway through. Getting through a long day without that quiet fatigue sitting behind your eyes. It feels subtle, but it changes how you move through life. Like switching from manual effort to something smoother, more automatic. The pressure drops. You feel more in control, even when things get busy. Decisions become clearer because you are not operating from exhaustion. And confidence shifts too. It stops being something you try to show and becomes something people can feel without explanation. And while everything feels easier on the outside, something structural is happening underneath most men completely ignore. Point 3. Most men ignore this completely. You focus on how you look in the mirror, how your clothes fit, how much weight you've lost, but the structure holding everything together? That rarely gets attention. Bone health feels invisible, so it gets ignored. Until one day, it isn't invisible anymore. What to do instead? Lift progressively heavier weights over time, not recklessly, not to impress anyone, but with control, consistency, and intent. Gradual progression. Small increases that your body adapts to and respects. Here's what happens beneath the surface. When you place stress on your muscles through resistance training, your bones respond too. They become denser, stronger, more resilient. Your body doesn't separate systems the way most people think. It upgrades them together. Strength training also supports key hormones that keep your structure intact, helping you maintain not just muscle, but the integrity of your entire frame. Think of it like the frame of a building. You can paint the walls, decorate the interior, make everything look impressive. But if the structure is weak, none of it lasts. When you train properly, you're not just building muscle, you're reinforcing the foundation that everything else depends on. There's a reason studies consistently show that resistance training improves bone density over time. Not dramatically overnight, but steadily, quietly, in a way that compounds. And that's the kind of progress that actually matters. The impact shows up in how you move. You stay steady, not fragile. You carry yourself with a kind of physical authority that doesn't need explanation. There's confidence in knowing your body can handle pressure, not just avoid it. And that changes how you approach everything else. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because when all of this comes together, something rare happens. Point 4. Most men try too hard to be noticed. You speak more than necessary, adjust your style constantly, spend more than you should, all to create an impression that never fully lands. Effort becomes visible, and once effort is visible, it loses value. People can feel when something is being forced. What to do instead? Build physical presence through consistent training. Not for attention, but for alignment. When your body changes, your behavior follows without rehearsal. Here's what shifts. Your posture improves without reminders. You stand straighter, not because you're trying, but because your structure supports it. Your movements slow down, become more deliberate, more controlled. There's no rush in how you walk, no tension in how you sit. Even your eye contact stabilizes. You hold it naturally without thinking about it. Picture walking into a room and not saying a word. No announcements, no adjustments, no need to perform. Yet people notice, not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently. That kind of attention is different. It stays. Women notice calm strength, not noise. Men read discipline before you introduce yourself. In professional settings, authority increases without you needing to speak more. You don't demand respect, you make it easy to give. Presence is not practiced, it's built. And if you've been paying attention, this leads to something very few men ever reach. Write control in the comments if this is starting to click. Because what most men miss here is not effort, it's direction. You can train, eat better, even lose weight, and still not reach the point where everything aligns. That is where separation actually begins. Not in how hard you try, but in what your body starts doing automatically when you stop interfering with it. Because what comes next is where the real separation begins. Bonus point, you join the 5% club. Thank you for staying this far. That alone already separates you from most people who start and disappear halfway. At this point, you are not just watching, you are part of the real community that actually follows through. Most men get stuck doing the wrong thing. Inconsistency. Starting strong, stopping early. Jumping from one quick fix to another, hoping something finally sticks. A new diet, a new routine, a new promise. Then back to the same cycle. What to do instead? Commit to long-term strength and discipline. Not extreme changes, but steady repetition. The kind that looks small in the beginning but becomes impossible to ignore over time. Here's the deeper truth. Only a small percentage of men maintain strength, mobility, and structure as the years pass. Not because it is complicated, but because it requires patience. And patience compounds. Every workout, every discipline choice, every moment you choose consistency over comfort. It stacks. Think of it like investing. Two men start at different times. One starts early and stays consistent. The other waits, hesitates, then tries to catch up later. Over time, the gap doesn't just appear, it expands. Quietly, without drama. The impact is simple but powerful. You stop trying to stand out, and you just do. Your health, your presence, and your confidence begin to align naturally. Life feels less reactive and more controlled. This is not about fitness anymore. It's about positioning yourself differently in life. Point 1. You gain the can't buy it look. Point 2. Everyday tasks become effortless. Point 3. Your bone density increases. Point 4. Lifting changes your presence. Bonus, you join the 5% club. When you connect all of this, the pattern becomes clear. What most men call fat loss is only the surface level. The real shift is control. How your body stores energy, how it moves, how it holds structure under pressure. Fat loss is not the goal. Control is, because when control improves, everything else follows without forcing it. Your posture, your energy, your presence, even how others respond to you, all start aligning in the same direction. Strength is not just physical output. It reshapes everything beneath the surface quietly, over time, in ways that are not immediately visible but impossible to ignore later. Like the video to support growth and visibility. Subscribe for daily, direct insights that cut through noise and focus on real discipline, strength, and long-term structure. Share this with someone who values consistency and understands that real change is built, not rushed. Thank you for watching all the way through. Your attention here matters more than you think. There's a recommended video on your screen right now. Watch that next to continue building on this. We'll see you back soon.